Alright, well, today we have the Majohn v60 in glorious yellow. This is a pen that's been on my radar for a while now, but which I have not bought because I wanted a specific nib option, and that nib I could not find on one until recently. And I think, actually let me check. Yes, this one came from the Lada writing store on AliExpress specifically. I don't normally call out a specific source because they're not paying me. But I was so happy to find this with the nib that I was looking for that I figure, there might be someone else out there. So, the V60 is an interesting pen with an interesting form factor. It's triangular, piston filler, no ink window. The cap clips on and off. Does it post? I don't know. Friends don't let friends post pens. This barely covers the piston knob. But I guess it does in theory post. But for that nib, that's it. Stub. A Majohn stub. So, I'm very happy for that because, as you know, all nibs should be a stub nib, unless they're an architect. Ink. The ink is Hongdian Peacock Blue. One of my two favorite Hongdian inks. Let's fix our focus. Well, let's see how this writes. As already mentioned, the triangular shape is the most distinct feature of the barrel and cap. It is a direct nod to the OMAS 360 as mentioned. The shape is designed to be ergonomic and comfortable for some users, but, others find it less comfortable and have to adjust the grip. Some people have a similar complaint about the Lamy Safari's grip. But with the OMAS 360 and this Majohn V60 by extension, if you don't like that grip on the Lamy Safari, you're not going to like holding this pen. This pen has Resin and Metal Construction. The pen is made from a combination of resin and metal. It's often available in various colors and finishes. There is a demonstrator option out there. I don't remember if it was perfectly clear, or if it was one of those transparent browns, but that is out there somewhere. The piston filling mechanism, it allows for a larger ink capacity. There's no ink window, though. Some people like that ink window, some don't. That can be a point of contention. it only works with bottled fill ink. I'm sure you could probably disassemble it and do a, what do they call it, a syringe fill, but I don't know why you would do that. Nib and writing performance. It is a steel nib. It's typically equipped with a number 6. I have seen this mostly in extra fine and fine. More recently, I started seeing it in medium, and I only saw it in stub relatively recently. It is September 9th, around 10:49 on September 9th as I record this. I ordered this pen on August 30th, so it took less than 2 weeks to get here. So that was nice. And I ordered this pen the moment I saw it in a stub. I have no idea when this video will come out, but that'll give you an idea of the timeline, at least based on my experience. The writing experience itself are a bit mixed, as is typical with a lot of the Chinese pens that we will get through sources such as AliExpress and Temu and whatnot. Generally speaking, this particular pen, based on what I've read, and this is subjective obviously, has been generally positive, especially for its price range. Some people have described this as having a pencil-like feedback. This stub nib does not give me that. I experience a smooth writing that has substantially less feedback than a pencil. I will not call it especially smooth. There is some degree of feedback. It's not as good as my finely tuned Monteverde stub, which I just have at a point where it's just no friction, no feedback whatsoever, which I both love and am somewhat disturbed by. This pen obviously has been compared to the OMAS 360 quite extensively, not just because of its aesthetics. The writing experience itself has been at times compared. I have not used the OMAS 360. I cannot speak authoritatively to that. The piston fill mechanism on this pen is allegedly super reliable. People are not reporting this pen leaking unexpectedly or the piston mechanism breaking. I wouldn't be surprised if the piston filling mechanism on a modern pen such as this, even at this price point, is better than or more reliable than the piston filling mechanisms on some of the older pens that I have from better known, we'll phrase it that way, manufacturers. This v60 uses a traditional inner cap with a lip, which provides a good seal and prevents ink from drying out quickly. This is an improvement over the original's 3 metal peg clutch system, which was prone to issues. I have only seen that in video and in pictures and in various internet strangers' musings on the internet, so I cannot speak to that authoritatively, but I have seen now several similar comments about that, so I am noting it. The major draw, I think, is that this thing looks different, and different is good, and it's affordable. So if you don't want to go through the major investment, this is a potential win for you. Let's do a size comparison here, using the left margin line as a starting point. Majohn v60, Majohn p140, Lamy AL star, whatever, July 930. It's a biggie. As find C80 if it won't roll away. So it's comparable in length to the 140 and at least capped. Uncapped, let's see how it compares. Get it nice and close. As close as we can without it. Here, you're going to roll into the triangle. So, interesting how the overall length is approximately the same, but differences in the nib and feed. Actually, you know what, it's in two entirely different size nibs. I think the 140 has a number 8 nib, is that right? And I think this is a number 6 nib on the v60. So there's that. Triangular design is very reminiscent of the OMAS 360. That's been noted before by many others. I first learned about this pen because of Doodlebud. Doodlebud did a review on this at some point in the past, also comparing it to the OMAS 360. If I can find that video, I will link it in the description. Based on his feedback, that's what got me interested in the pen beyond its aesthetics. It's a very distinct look. But I wanted that stub nib. I mean, what in the world is better than a stub, aside from an architect? So, anyway, I got it now. I paid less than $30 for it, I believe. And, less than $30, I might have paid much less. No, it looks like it cost about $30. No, actually 27. So $30 with something else that I bought from whatever. The clip, super strong. I don't use clips much. I don't clip my pens to stuff. I don't clip it to a shirt pocket. I don't whatever. That's not a me thing. Just like I don't post pens, generally speaking. So if you are a clip user or a pen poster, we've covered that for this particular pen. And we got ourselves some writing samples with my terrible writing. And that's pretty much that with this pen. This is a pen I would gladly buy again with this nib. And the only way that I think this could be better is if it was an architect or maybe a long knife. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that it was only offered with Stub as the most exotic nib. Because that's what I enjoy using the most. And that degree of familiarity with the nib type, I think, is certainly a selling point for using this. Aside from it being, I don't want to say that's international safety yellow, but that is yellow, my goodness. It's a little darker in person. Let's see if I can play with the exposure here to the point where I can match the yellow. About like that, I would say. That's better. I don't know how the exposure gets so crazy in these videos. I blame my camera because it's an easy target. But it still looks a hair more pastel on camera than it does in person. Which is fine because I think both look like very nice shades of yellow. And you can see this is my fault. I got ink in the cap. It's a long story, and it's only going to strain my credibility, so I'm not going to bother telling it. But there was an incident. How do you spell that? Ink. Incident. Incident. No, it's definitely this one. So, unless we want a hyphen, because, you know, the modern desktop catastrophe hyphenates. Incident. I like that. It's more of a pain in the ass to write. Majohn v60. Stay in school. Blah, blah.